So, what if I told you that modern science and, ancient spiritual wisdom are actually talking about the very same thing, just using completely different words? Today, we're going to dive into a really surprising connection that, honestly, it might just change the way you see everything.
It's a really simple idea, but it's also pretty profound, right? The culture you grow up in, your environment, even the air you breathe, all of it shapes how you see life. I mean, that's why we have this incredible diversity of beliefs and philosophies all over the world. Each one is like a totally unique lens for looking at reality.
But what if all those different lenses are pointed at the exact same thing? The idea we're exploring is that, underneath all our cultural differences, there's this one fundamental unity in nature, something that connects every single one of us. The way we talk about it might change, but the core thing, that stays the same.
And this leads us to a huge, timeless question. I mean, it's a quest that scientists in their labs and mystics on mountaintops have been on for, well, millennia. It's the search for what's actually permanent in a world where everything seems to be constantly changing.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. What is the one thing in this world that's truly eternal, that lasts forever? Is it stuff? Is it people? Maybe ideas? This is the big question we've got to tackle if we want to find that deep connection. So the answer we're looking at here is that the eternal thing, it isn't a physical form. Forms, they come and they go. The real constant is the essence underneath it all. It's this fundamental stuff that never ever disappears. It just transforms. Kind of like how water can be ice or liquid or steam, it's still water, just in a different form.
Okay, now we're getting to the really cool part. This is where it all clicks into place. We're about to see how two worldviews that seem like total opposites actually end up at the exact same conclusion about what this eternal essence is. So check this out. On one side, you've got modern science. Physics tells us there's this fundamental thing called energy. And the number one rule, it can't be created or destroyed, it only changes form, okay? Then, on the other side, you have ancient Balinese wisdom. They identified the exact same idea, a single source of everything that exists, and they called it Sang Hyang Widhi Wasa, which you could translate as God.
So here's the big takeaway. Energy and the divine, they're not two different things. They're just two different names from two different cultures for the exact same underlying reality. The one thing that makes up literally everything. I mean, this just perfectly sums it up, doesn't it? When you see this connection, that whole supposed conflict between science and spirituality, it just kind of dissolves. It's all one and the same, whether you're trying to understand it with a calculator or through quiet meditation.
Okay, so if everything is made of this one energy, that brings up a pretty big question, right? How does that one thing become, well, all of this? The complex world we see, our thoughts, our words, everything we do. Well, the idea is that it all starts with a tiny imbalance in that energy field. Think of it like plucking a single string on a giant cosmic guitar. That pluck creates a vibration, and that vibration sends out waves with specific frequencies. Now, those frequencies are the basic building blocks of sound, which eventually form our language, our words, and then finally, inside our own minds, this whole chain reaction gets focused into something we call human intention.
So when we talk about intention here, it's not just, wanting something to happen. It's seen as the actual seed of creation. It's the exact point where that universal creative energy gets focused and aimed through a person's consciousness. It's basically our personal remote control for this whole cosmic process.
And this is where all these huge cosmic ideas get really personal and practical. Because if we're all part of this massive energetic system, then maybe, just maybe, the key to living a good life is all about how we manage our own personal frequency. Which, of course, is the million-dollar question, right? If we're made of this universal energy, how do we actually get in sync with it? How do we stop swimming against the current and, just learn to flow with the universe? Well, the path laid out here really comes down to three key things. First up is awareness, just realizing and accepting that you're part of this whole energy flow. Second is balance, finding your center, not going to extremes. And finally, harmony. That's about actively tuning your own intentions so that your personal vibe, your frequency, matches the natural rhythm of the cosmos. And when you get that alignment right, that's when things really start to flow. You're not just a tiny, separate drop in the ocean anymore. You realize you're the entire ocean in a single drop. You become a conscious player in the creative dance of the universe, a deliberate part of that one eternal energy. So I'm going to leave you with this last question to think about. Forget all the labels for a second, all the science and the spirituality. Just ask yourself, are you living as a conscious expression of the universe? And if the answer is no, what would it take to find your frequency?